genocide, apartheid, Jim Crow, rape and sexual assault, the CIA, the FBI, the NSA, mass incarceration, immigrant detention complex, crimigation, that's the kind of new word in the field around immigration, criminalizing immigrants, Operation Streamline, anti-immigration policies, stemming from the first state, Arizona, the state of hate, and now going everywhere around this country. I was thinking about this in Ferguson that night that me, Talib, Jessica, and 13 other people were chased down along with hundreds of people. With the police had guns to our head and told them, if you move, you're going to get shot. And I said that night to Talib after we got back from that and started writing and talking to people about our experience. Apparently the state and its actors wants us to walk to our march to our own deaths peacefully and silently. And what we just witnessed here is that we're not allowing that to happen. People in Baltimore were not only rebelling from Freddie Gray, this has been decades in the making. You know, I looked at coverage that night and all I could think was, while a city is rebelling and young people are crying out, men and women, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered young people, Latinos, African Americans, right down the street was the White House correspondent dinner. And I said, this is the French Revolution. These cats are literally eating cake. With the 1%, while a rebellion is happening 40 miles down the street. And you know what? Even if I voted for Cynthia McKinney, I expected more from a Black president. And the Black community and the Latino community, we should have expected more. And there's nothing wrong with saying we should expect more. Cancel that damn dinner and take your ass from Baltimore, please, Mr. President. I don't mean to disrespect that at all, and I apologize. But go down the street where the people are crying out, the very same people that you say could have been your son or your daughter. They are your son and your daughter. So Frantz Fanon also has said, first we recognize, then we resist, then we rebel. To me, in the modern social justice movement and historical record, the recognition, I think, began with the contemporary movement known as the Civil Rights Movement, or not the contemporary movement, the movement of the 50s and mid-60s known as the Civil Rights Movement. The resistance was the Black power, brown power era. The rebellion is Ferguson and Black Lives Matter. And we're here, and we've survived all this, and the system of white supremacy and capitalism actually does not know what to do with us now. So either we're literally enslaved, in prison, our movements are restricted, racial surveillance is imposed, institutionalized racism in our institutions, education, politics, economics, entertainment, even our sexuality is institutionalized racism. And when that fails to stop us, they kill us. And they kill our young boys and girls. People always ask me, why do you have Alicia at a rally? Alicia's 10 years old, and the state killed Diana Jones, and she was 7. And Tamir Rice was 12, and Michael Brown was 17, and Andy Lopez was 14, and Rakia Boyd was 17. That's why the state kills 7-year-olds and 12-year-olds. What a disservice I would be doing if I did not racially socialize my child to understand her role in the movement at 10 years old. Because that's what it is. I would be a bad mother. And if they don't straight up kill us, then we become political prisoners. Oscar Lopez Rivera, Leonard Peltier, Jalil Muntaquen, Russell Maroon Schultz, David Gilbert, Mumia Abu-Jamal, ultimate warriors. been in jail 40 years plus for their political beliefs. You want to meet one? Eddie Conway in Baltimore, friend of a friend program, 40 years locked up. You want to do something? One university around here needs to hire Eddie to come in and run a program then. 40 years he did locked up for something he didn't commit because he was political and in the Panther Party. And if that doesn't work, they choke us to death, either literally or through economic injustice. And when that fails to stop us, they build walls to keep us out of our original lands. I don't know who crossed the border. I think the U.S. crossed into a border. Maybe they should get back. So that cry, that call for Black Lives Matter, you know, and Alicia said it yesterday, and they've always said it, this was not a call for the white gays. This is for Black and Latino, for people of color to reclaim our humanity and want freedom and resistance by any means necessary. It doesn't matter if you're Black in Ferguson, Black in Brazil, Black in Haiti, or the Dominican Republic, Black in Nigeria, Nicaragua, Honduras, Panama, Cuba, Mexico, France, Black in Australia, Black in Palestine. We're crying and fighting for our lives, and they keep telling us and showing us we don't matter. But we keep fighting and showing, of course, we matter. The killing of young Black and Latino people by the state is nothing new. Hassan Salam says, MC Hassan Salam, racism has been stayed right on track and none of it changed because the president was Black. Ferguson broke every rule of the last 20 years of organizing. Young people, homeless people, women, queer folks. They said from the beginning this was not a new civil rights movement, and hopefully we put that to bed. Civil rights movement is over, people. What you think of the civil rights movement, it achieved some goals. It always had a legal means or a legal end to it. But you can't keep calling this the new civil rights movement. People are not talking about civil rights, they're talking about the humanity. They're not taking about the wall, saying you're a citizen, you deserve something. These young people are not always looking for a cop to be indicted. Of course they're gonna sacrifice 3 or 4 of their own to keep the system going. That's the way the system works. This is not about public policy, how many laws are on the book. If we want justice, we have to fight for it. The future of this fight right now is going to require a radical militancy and organization and unity that we have never seen before. We cannot let fear of what we don't know outstrip what we do know. And what we do know is that we have a new generation of unapologetic, in-your-face, fuck the police, the whole damn system is guilty, we are taking our humanity back, get out the way, and we're talking about August 9th, right around the corner. 365 days of sustained protests in every corner of this country. We're talking about a group of young people that when they went to show their grief, were met with military tanks and military might in their own neighborhoods, and they stood up strong those weeks. A lot of us knew that this post-911 world would turn weapons on, militarize these police, and eventually turn on their own citizens. Right? So as we move forward, and many of us too get caught up in thinking that just because we may be a majority in numbers, and people want to use that as their own electoral political gain. We could very well be the majority and live in a South Africa apartheid-like state. And that's where it's heading up. You think Ferguson and Baltimore are not about social control? You think as they're not closing down prisons, they're not opening them up for immigrant detention? This is what's happening. This is what's happening. Our lives cannot be reduced to a hashtag. We have to live up as well other people of African and indigenous descent, like a Jesse Hernandez and an Omar Abrego. But at the end, this is not a hashtag. It's not a selfie. It's not something you tweet. It's not a trend. It's not a t-shirt. It's not a panel. It's not an event. For me, this is my life. This should be all of our lives. I can't do something big every day, but every day, as W.E.B. Du Bois taught us, I can strike a hammer to the system of white supremacy. It's the least I can do, we can do, for our freedom we enjoy. We only enjoy it because of the sacrifice of our ancestors, our elders, our freedom fighters, our war veterans, the ones we call our OGs, our political prisoners and prisoners of war that faced and survived the assault on the NOAA and the counterintelligence program. Those are my OGs. Those are my old veterans. Black Lives Matter. Unapologetic, unafraid, unbossed, unbought. We will not compromise. We will not make this palatable. We will not bend, and we will no longer be passive to a system that seeks reform. We are seeking complete transformation of this system, and nothing less is acceptable.